Okay, this is part 2 of the Toolbox tutorial. We are going to now take this object that we just built and we are going to duplicate it and resize it a few times and make all of the different sizes, kind of the standard sizes that are available in models. So first let's go ahead and make sure we're on the selection mode and selection tool, and we're going to select the object. I'm going to go to edit, make sure it's highlighted, go to edit, locate, and center about origin. That's going to snap it right to the middle of the workspace. This will just keep everything nice and neat and straight. Now we're going to go to the front view, click on front and go to one view. Everything we're going to be doing mostly from this front view, so we don't need to see the other viewports at this point. Let's go ahead. By the way, if you're in the wireframe view or any of the other views, go ahead and make sure you're on this one here, which is the smooth shaded. That's what we're going to be working with. Alright, so what we need to do is duplicate this and resize it. So to do that, we're going to select the object, of course, and then you're going to go to Control C to copy and then Control V to paste. And now what you've done is you've actually copy and pasted the object right on top of itself. So there's actually two objects there, but you just can't see the second one. So go over here to your axis, click on the X to isolate the X axis. And then we're going to go to the Move tool, which is here, and come out here and then go ahead and just click and drag right on top of the object, and you'll pull out this second object just like that. Kind of freaky. Alright, once we've done that, go to the object viewpoint here, and then go down here to this, which is the frame view, and that will snap our frame to where we're working, and then go back to the object viewer just like that. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to resize this second object to the 9-inch size. This one's 11. We need to make this one 9. If we go up here, there's a ruler icon. So click on that, and what that does is enables rulers. So when we click on this now and select it, you'll see down here there's an 11 telling us that the width of this is 11 inches. Well, really the diameter. So let's go ahead now over here. We're going to select the scale tool, which is here. We're going to disable grid snapping, which is this icon here, and now come out here and we're going to click and drag to the left and scale this down to as close to 9 as we can get it. 9.006 is pretty darn close to 9 inches. So I'm going to go with that. You may have a different number on your system depending on how your system works. If you can't get to this 9.006, just get as close as you can. And then we're going to unselect by just clicking out in the field. And now we've got an 11-inch and a 9-inch. Well, close enough to 9-inch. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to double-click here, and that brings up our mesh parameters. And we're going to rename this 11-inch. Just like that. And then you got it. We're going to double-click on this one, and we're going to call this 9-inch. Go figure. All right. So now when you click on this, if you look down in this lower left-hand corner, when I click on these, it tells me what I've clicked on. It actually gives me a name of the item, the object. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is click on this 9-inch and go back to grid snapping. The X is still isolated, and I'm just going to use the Move tool and drag this over and get it to kind of snap back to the grid and make it look nice and neat, and then back to the selection tool. Okay. Now we're going to go to the viewpoint, and there's a move option in the viewpoint also. We're going to click and drag the view over just like that. Go back to the selection tool, click on the 9-inch. We're going to Control C, Control V, and then go to the Move tool and click and drag out another copy. Now we're going to take this and we got to size this down to 5. So now we're going to just go right to our scale tool here. Disable snapping. And then we're going to go here and we're going to drag to the left and scale this down to as close to 5 inches as we can get it. 4.992 is pretty close. I'm going to go with that. Unselect. Let's turn snapping back on. Reselect it and drag it over using the Move tool to get it back on the grid. And then we're going to go to the frame view and go to the object viewpoint, go to the frame view to snap it just like that. And now I'm going to make sure these are spaced using the move tool on the x-axis, so they're all about the same width apart, just so it looks nice and neat, just like that. So we now have an 11-inch, a 9-inch, and then we'll double click on this and name this 0.5-inch, just like that. Okay, go back to the object viewpoint, which is here, the eyeball, and then we're going to use the move tool, and we're going to drag, click and drag over here on the other side of this 11-inch, and we're going to start going up in size now. So let's select that 11-inch. We're going to Control C, Control V, grab the move tool, and drag that out. Probably to about right there. Okay, and then we're going to go to the scale tool. Make sure your snapping is unselected. And now this time we're going to click and drag to the right to go bigger. You see our number counting up down there. We're going to get to as close to 16 as we can. I'm going to go a little bit over and go 16.09. Going to go back to the snap here and use that. I'm sorry, and then go to the move tool and snap that back to the grid just by moving it around a little bit. And then I'm going to go to the viewpoint again and drag this over. Now we're getting bigger than what we're working on, so we're going to go down here in the viewpoint. There's also a zoom function. We're going to click on this zoom, and you're going to click and drag to the left so we can zoom out a little bit. And then back to your selection tool. We've got this selected. We're going to Control C, Control V, move tool, and we're going to drag out another copy just like that. And now we are going to make sure snapping is unselected. Go to the scale tool, and again we're going to click and drag to the right till we get to 24. Right there, it's exactly 24. Again, your numbers may be different than mine, but try and get as close to 24 as you can. Once you've done that, we now have all of our balloons. We need to rename this one still, so let's make that 16-inch by double clicking on it. Double click this one and name this 24-inch. Like that. We're going to turn snapping back on, go to the move tool, and we're going to slide this back and forth a little bit, get our spacing about the same. And now what we can do is go to the eyeball, which is the object viewpoint. I just call it the eyeball, and we're going to go to the frame again and click that, and now you can see we've got all of our balloons nicely lined up here in a row. If you want to adjust the spacing, you can by clicking on the balloon, obviously, and moving it left or right. This spacing looks pretty good to me. I might move these three by grabbing them with the multi-select tool and move them in just a little bit like that. Okay. Alright, so those are all of our standard sizes. We got 5, 9, 11, 16, and 24 inch. The next size up is a 30 inch, and that's just a big round ball. So those are easy. We're going to re-enable our Y and Z axis here. We're going to go to the viewpoint, and we're going to go to the move tool, and we're going to drag down so we make some room up above here to work. And then go to the sphere tool. Come out here and just click and drag until you get up to close to 30 inches. Somewhere around there. But anyways, we're going to double click on it and size it manually anyways. Go to the diameter and you're going to put in 30. You're going to change the longitude to 24, latitude to 16. I'm going to disable the rulers for now because we're kind of done with that. And you can kind of pick where you want to put this. We're going to put it right about there for now. We need to go to build and make this a mesh, because right now it's not. Once you make it a mesh, you'll see your selection turns white. We also need to make the 36 inch, so we're going to do the same procedure. We're going to grab the sphere, click and drag, double click the object, go to the diameter, put in 36, 24 for the longitude, and 16 for the latitude. And then we'll just move that down to where it looks nice. And right around there. And we need to build and convert that to a mesh. And then we'll name these. Double click, 30 inch. And 36 inch. Just like that. Okay, now there's a couple more steps just to make things nice and neat and clean. What we're going to do is go to your frame view. We're going to snap it to the frame just like that. But things still are not right in the middle. You can see our axis here. This is the middle of our viewport. Everything's kind of hinging around this 11 inch. We want to take this group and move it to where it's right in the middle of everything. So we are going to go to the multi-select or the drag select, and we're going to drag a box around all of these so they're all selected. You're going to go to build and group. We'll be using group quite a bit later when we start working with multiple items, but for now we'll explain that later. Right now just click group, and what you've done is made these all a single group. You're going to go to edit, locate, center about origin, and that moves everything as a group to the dead center of the screen. And then you can go back to build and ungroup, and now everything's back to being a single object. Going to go to the viewpoint and click on the frame view to center the frame, and file, we're going to save this and then let's go to all, and then same thing, go to viewpoint and then click on the frame. Click on the multi-frame, which is this one, and that will size all the frames at the same time for you. And now you can see that you've created this group of balloons that will basically be your toolbox. If you go to the perspective view and you go to one view, click on the eyeball and then click on the rotate view here, and you can click and drag and you can spin around and see what you've built. Pretty cool. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. In the next one we'll start talking about actually putting basically skins, materials on these to make them look like the actual balloons and the actual colors.